Welcome back to Beauty Boss Millionaire. I'm your host, Felicia Fracassi, and today we're just wrapping up the last season on organization. Now, we kind of talked about all different areas of how we can be more organized, to how we can organize our mind, and how we can even organize the business, and how we can organize the customer's experience. But now we're going to focus on something called procrastination and how it can really affect your organization.
Thank you for tuning in to the Beauty Boss Millionaire podcast. Her mission is to empower you with short, on-the-go business tips to help you successfully start and run your company like a boss and achieve financial freedom. And now, here's your host, Felicia Fracassi.
The first thing is that procrastination is where you just keep on putting something off, or you put something for later, or you even can overpile a lot of things. There's different levels to procrastination, and the main reason why a lot of people procrastinate is because they're unable to effectively regulate their own emotions. It's like a symptom of ADHD. And the first thing that you want to do is just simply discover, why you're procrastinating. Is it something that you just don't want to do? Is it stressful thinking about it? Do you get like writer's block? I remember when I was younger, I used to always put the hardest thing at the end, and I had to learn to actually do the opposite. Instead, I decided to do the thing that I didn't want to do and get that done first. And you can also break that big thing down into smaller steps. That also helps as well. Like, say, for example, it was an essay. I didn't want to do the whole essay all at once. So what I did is I simply broke it down and said, okay, well, today I'll do the introduction. I'll do my research on that. And then I'll go into other different steps and do a step every day. Another thing that helps in business is simply set deadlines. If you set a deadline, which I never set my deadline the day of, like, for example, payroll is on Friday. I never do my payroll on Friday. I always try to do it beforehand. And even when my schedule gets really busy, I try to do things ahead of time. And in business, deadlines can be very important to make sure that you're meeting those, because it helps you determine your mark of how efficient you're being. And it helps to keep you accountable. I always say, like you'll always hear me say, you don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. And, I always thought this model was pretty standard with people like me that were in business and owned a business. And I started to learn that these people don't think like me. I will work all night just to get something done. Obviously, if it needs to be done that, before I go into the next day with that project. And, when we were younger, my mom used to always tell us, get done what you can get done today and stop trying to drag it into tomorrow. And I don't know if I just learned that at an early age, but I knew, like, even down to chores, why in the world would I leave them undone just to have to do them the next day? I just want to get it over with. I don't want to look at it again. And the same thing goes for the business world. If you can put off something, you might feel good about it. But when it's time for it to be due and you're under the pressure, you're doing it wrong, you're rushing, it doesn't make you feel good. I don't know about you, but it doesn't make me feel good when I'm rushing, trying to finish something that should have been completed earlier. And one thing you can always do is you can make those boring tasks that you don't want to do, you can just maybe make them appealing, or trick yourself into that it's going to be fun, or give yourself a mini reward afterwards. Another thing that people do that they make the mistake of doing, they try to multitask. And my best advice is stay focused on that one thing, or simply rotate between two tasks maximum. Don't do too many things at once. Just stick to 1 to 2 tasks and get it done. And another thing that I want to talk about in the organizational department is something called distractions. Try your best to limit your distractions in business, because I'm telling you, you're going to be interrupted 100 times a day when you get really busy. My distractions can come from, phone calls are really never a distraction for me, depending on which calls that come in. And you have to get really good on just kind of screening your calls, or even, picking up the right call, because a lot of times you get these calls that are time wasters. And I don't mean customer calls. You should always answer a customer's phone call. And if you can't get to them right now, let them know that you can get back to them at a better time, because you don't want to be in traffic rushing and doing all these different things. Nowadays, everyone has a cell phone. A lot of people have business phones connected to their phone. So yes, I do want to mention this whole factor on, they're going to call you at any point in time, and you should know when you can and when you can't take that call. But make sure that your office has minimal distractions. My phone is typically on vibrate when I'm doing work, especially if it's a longer report, if I'm looking at reports, because my phone chimes so much throughout the day. It just constantly goes off. I don't even have it on at work sometimes, because I need to focus on my work, or I need to focus on the client, or I'm pulling reports at my job and I really need to kind of pay attention to the numbers to make sure everything looks right, to make sure that we're being efficient. And I feel like I need to really stress this again because so many people will never start a business because they're so distracted by social media. It's so important that you either turn off that Facebook, turn off the Instagram. It's going to feel weird. I know, trust me. Your whole life you feel like is on the gram or on Facebook or Twitter or TikTok. I can keep going, all the social media handles they have out now. But my point is that some people sadly will never open a business because they're so focused on social media, which is consuming 4 hours out of their day, 5, even if it's just 2 to 3 hours. That could be 2 to 3 hours that we're putting towards the business plan, running your business. You know, I'm telling you, I have a confession. I am not exactly a TV watcher. And I've said this before. I don't watch TV. I don't have any favorite shows that I watch, but I am really good at business. And there's other things that I do that I like doing in my free time, but I'm very selfish when it comes to my time. I'm very selfish with who is allowed in my space. And that was something that I had to learn, not in a bad way, but in a way to preserve my energy. I told my husband today, he was going to the store to go shopping, and I don't know what it is about me. And I just said, okay, babe, see you at the house, because I didn't want to go into the grocery store. There's times where my mind can handle it, and there's times where my mind cannot handle it, because the grocery store to me is like a maze. It depends on how my mind wants to handle it. And any entrepreneur that is at a certain level of business, at this point, you just send someone to the grocery store for you, or you just order on the Instacart or Amazon, because your mind can only be pulled in so many ways. And a lot of times people will procrastinate because they don't want to do something. You need to kind of get a hold and control of that so you can begin to tackle and handle those things on that list, because you don't want to ruin your business by handling something that could have been handled today. I mean, I know right now that if I don't handle something in my business tonight, like at that moment and by, 10 o'clock that night, it is going to creep until tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. And that's how entrepreneurs can really ruin their business, by 1, not being organized, and 2, by simply procrastinating. If you can do it today, do it. I hope all of this has helped as we're wrapping up this season of organization. Stay tuned for season 4. Thanks for tuning in to the Beauty Boss Millionaire with Felicia Fracassi.
That's it for today. Tune in tomorrow for the Beauty Boss Millionaire podcast. And don't forget to follow the Beauty Boss Millionaire, Felicia Fracassi, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Beauty Boss Millionaire.